Hello, this is Tom from Blacktoad Studio, and it is time for Apocalypse. And here is my 12,000 points, give or take a few points here or there, of Black Templars. So we've got several detachments here. I'm going to go through each of them in a detachment at a time so you understand how the army is structured. Just to give you a couple of key points. Overall, we allocated ourselves 72 command points each, and obviously we minus the costs of each detachment off, which I think you'll find comes down to quite a nice number in the end. So let's start off on the right here. We have a battalion detachment, which is this little section here separated by the transports there. So we have two HQs actually, sorry. So we have a Gravis captain here with 2 lieutenants, obviously the lieutenant's taking up 1 slot. So the Gravis captain has been given an additional relic from the Black Templars list of Crusader relics. He has the, let me just check, it's the Sword of Judgment, so that gives him +1 strength, -3 AP and 3 damage. He's got no other upgrades there. Lieutenants are as they are, so a power sword and obviously the bolt rifle there. We then have a few troops, so we've got a Crusader squad here with bolters. We have another one exactly almost the same behind it. And then behind that, another Crusader squad. So that's 3 Crusader squads making up the 3 troop choices for the battalion. Then we have some elites. So on the right here, we have a 5-man Stern Guard veteran squad. Actually, sorry, that front one is actually just a company veteran squad. They all have power fists. The sergeant has a grav pistol, and then behind them we have the Stern Guard here. This one is equipped with grav guns and combi gravs, and then at the back here we have exactly the same, except this one has plasma guns and plasma combi gravs. Sorry, plasma combi, sorry. Quite a lot to go through here, so apologies if I get anything a little bit wrong. Just moving on to a couple more elites here, we have a Relic Contemptor with a chain fist and obviously the Chaos Assault Cannon, and we have the Relic Dio there. And then we move on to some fast attack choices. So right at the back here we have the Assault Squad with jump packs, all equipped with chain swords and bolt pistols except for the Sergeant, who is carrying the the massive chainsword, the Eviscerator, which should hopefully cleave some chaos. We then have a bike squad here, so we've got 5 normal bikes and an attack bike with multi-melter. The sergeant in this squad has got a power fist. We then also have some suppressors here, ×3, just to round that out. And then finally, we have some heavy choices. So we have 2 predators here, one with las cannons and one with all heavy bolters and the autocannon on top. And then transport wise, over here we have a Razorback with las cannon, Razorback with las cannon, and 1 Rhino just hiding over there at the back. And to round out this list, we also have 2 Storm Talons. One has twin las cannons and the assault cannons, and obviously the other one has the Typhoon missile launchers and the assault cannons. And so I did just notice here I also have a 5-man Hellblaster squad there, just in the heavy slot as well. So that rounds out battalion number 1. We then shift over here to the left, to the central part of the board, to the bigger battalion. It's quite a meaty selection in here. So we have Chapter Master with Thunderhammer and Jump Pack. He is the warlord for this army, just for the purposes of getting the kind of upgrades and stuff like that. So we have Inspirational Fighter, which gives him +1 AP to any unit within 6 inches when they roll 6s. He also has taken the Aurelian Shroud relic, which is a 3-inch 4-up invulnerable for 1 turn of my choosing. We then have a chaplain here, and he's just a basic chaplain with jump pack and the Crosium. And then the Emperor's Champion, who'll hopefully be riding along with someone to sort of hopefully chop off the heads of some of their characters. We then go into the troop section here. It's quite a hefty troop section for this battalion. So we have 20 intercessors here, obviously 2 squads of 10 assault intercessors, all with chain swords and heavy bolt pistols. And then at the back we have a standard intercessor squad just with the auto bolt rifles. Sorry, just the bolt rifles, probably not auto bolt rifles. We then have some Crusader squads. So we have 20-man Crusader squad here, so we've got 10 neophytes and 10 initiates, all with chain swords, bolt pistols or combat weapons. Each squad has kind of got also a multi-melter upgrade and a power sword. Likewise at the back here, almost exactly the same. Actually no, it is exactly the same, excuse me. And then, right, we now go on to some elites. So we have 3 standard dreadnoughts here, 2 of them with assault cannons and 1 of them with a multi-melter. Over to the left here we have a venerable dreadnought with a twin las cannon and fist. We then have 2 ironclad dreadnoughts. One of them has the dual combat weapons, and the other one has Hurricane Bolter as an upgrade. Both have full ironclad assault launchers and also 2 hunter killers each. We then also have some Centurion Devastators in the heavy slot here. They have grav amps and grav amplifiers and grav cannons, along with the chest-mounted missile launchers. And also we have a relic Leviathan there with a storm cannon and siege claw with the melter in it. He's also got 3 hunter killers loaded into his carapace there, along with the 2 heavy flamers. We then have 1 flyer in here, which is the Cast Assault Ram. Going to be a little last hurrah for him, I suspect, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to play him in match play after the codex drops, because I don't think it's been included in the data sheets anymore, which is a bit sad, but never mind. So that's the other battalion. So we'll now shift over to some vanguards. So vanguard-wise, down here we have 2 chaplains leading the vanguard. The one on the right here has been upgraded to a Master of Sanctity. He has Wise Orator, which lets him re-roll the results on litanies. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything upgrade-wise for him. Oh no, we did give him Crusader Helm as well, so that increases his aura range. The other one is just stock, so just the Storm Bolter with the Crozius. We then have a 10-man standard Terminator squad with a Cyclone missile launcher and assault cannons. Other than that, all power fists. And then behind that, we have a 10-man assault Terminator squad. So we have 5 shields and thunderhammers and 5 lightning claws. And then we have another Terminator squad behind there in the Tartarus pattern, just to sort of round out that Vanguard detachment. We then roll on to the second Vanguard detachment, which consists of the new Primaris captain there with his shield, relic shield and mastercrafted power sword, and also we have a lieutenant there to round out the HQ slots. We then have 2 squads of Blade Guard veterans as stock, and then 1 Vanguard veteran squad with the jump packs there. They have a multitude of weapons in there, so we've got some power swords, some power axes, and some storm shields, etc, etc. So that's another squad there, or detachment there I should say. Then the final kind of big detachment over here is a Spearhead detachment, led by a Master of Forge here. I think we just gave, we don't give him any specific upgrades, basically because, I couldn't really fit any more in, really. So we have 3 Vindicators, one being the Demos Pattern Laser Destroyer, and then we have 3 Land Raiders, 2 Land Raider Crusaders, and 1 standard Land Raider with the las cannons there. So that kind of concludes the main Black Templar detachments. Now we're going to go on to some of the super heavies and other various things. So first of all, we have a super auxiliary detachment here, which consists of 1 Spartan with the quad las cannons on each sponsor and heavy bolter. Looking forward to firing some shots off with that. We then have another auxiliary detachment here for the storm sword. We have 2 las cannons and 2 heavy flames on each side, and obviously the big gun in the middle there. And then the final detachment, which is a super heavy detachment. We have 2 Armigers here, armed with the Morax pattern, and they are armed with twin lightning locks. This is also House Volker, I might add. We also have 1 Paladin Knight here on the left and 1 Knight Gallant on the right here. So he's also the Warlord for that. Well, he's the Warlord in the esque of leading the army, but I've gave him the Paragon Gauntlet, and also I've also upgraded him with the heirlooms of the Exalted Court, pardon me, which gives him an extra access to a Warlord trait, even if he's not the Warlord, which basically gives him Adamantium Shroud, which is 1, 2, 3 failed to wound on him, so he has to be a 4+ always to wound him when he's being shot at or in combat, etc. So that rounds out all of the detachments. We started off with 72 command points. We went down to 45 command points after doing all the detachments, and then we took another 10 off for various upgrades across all of them, which actually left me with 35 command points in total for the army during the game, which is quite a nice healthy amount for this size game, I think. So without further ado, let's go see what Dom's bought for his army.
Hello, this is Dom from Blacktoad Studios, and this is the Chaos Force I will be bringing to this Apocalypse game. So at the moment we are 11,800 points. This really is because it gives me a couple of 100 points to do a bit of emergency summoning if required. So that is the main reason for the slight lack of points. So that's about 200 points into my summoning pool if I need to. Now, unlike Tom, I haven't laid them out in a particular style because I quite like a sea of red. But let me tell you what we've got in this force here. So we've got a contingent of Khorne demons over here. So we have got a battalion of Khorne demons. We've got a super heavy detachment here. And then the main bulk of the force here is the Wordbearers, of course. And with the Wordbearers, we have got 3 battalions. We've got 2 outriders and we have got a spearhead. Wow, that was a lot of stuff to fit in this army, and we'll go through that in a moment. So let's start over with the Khorne demons over here. We have got the greater demon there of Khorne with the large axe. We've got Scarbrand here. We've got Oraka the War Fiend. We then, of course, have 8 blood crushers there. So we've spent a command point there to give them the banner of blood. And they've also got an instrument in that squad there. We've got our first squad of 20 bloodletters. So each of the bloodletter squads has an instrument and a banner. So for those who don't know, the instrument will add 1 to a charge in advance, and the banner there hopefully will bring back a few demons. Fingers crossed, it might be needed. We've got another squad of 10 here. We've got a second squad of 10. We've got a big old blob of 30 bloodletters there. We have got a soul grinder of Khorne there, and that is the demon contingent. Woo. So over the Bloodthirster at the back there, I did spend a couple of command points. So I made him an exalted Bloodthirster. So he's got the blood blessed ability, so it prevents him taking too much damage. I think it's 8. 8 wounds is the limit. We then have given him rewards of chaos because he's not the warlord of the army, and he's got the blood drinker talisman there, so there's a chance to regain wounds after he's inflicted some. So that is the Khorne demon element. Right, on to the knights. We'll get all the easy ones done before we go on to the Chaos Space Marines. Over here we have got the first knight here. We've gone with Infernal Knights, Vextrix. This one here has the rapid fire battle cannon, the Avenger Gatler, and the Storm Spear missiles there. Once again, we spent a couple of command points here, so we've got corrupted heirlooms. So this one has the Psycho, I can't think what it's called, but essentially it can do more damage on the roll of a 6, so I can pick which weapon there. We've got 3 war dogs here with the autocannons and heavy stubbers. We have got the Tyrant Knight, known as the Herald. He has got the harpoon and the conflagration cannon there. We then have another knight here with the thermal lance, is it? The big melter gun and the chainsaw there. So that's a knight contingent there of my super heavies. Moving over to the main bulk of the force here. Right, so first up, we'll go through the command points, the additional command points I've spent here. So my Dark Apostle, which is down here. We have given him the Apostle of the Dark Council, so that enables him really to do a little bit more on the battlefield. We've also got some Gifts of Chaos. So we first off have the Demon Sword of Tzeentch here, which prevents any invulnerable saves being taken, which will hopefully be very helpful. We have the Corrupted Crozius on the Vulture there, my John Pack Lord, and we have the Malefic Tome on the Master of Possession. So they're the extra command points I've spent. So keep in mind that we started with 72 command points. After using some on detachments, on upgrades, on relics, on everything I possibly could, has put me down to 40 command points. So I spent 32 command points assembling this army to start with. Even before the first shot has been fired, I've spent 32 command points. Impressive, I think. So going down here, we have got 2 Demon Princes here, one with Malefic Talons, one with the Axe. They are both Mark of Tzeentch. This one over here has Death Hex. This one here has Warp Time there. We have another Chaos Sorcerer here, Terminator Armor. He has got Prescience and Death Hex. We have got a Chaos Lord with Terminator Armor, 2 Lightning Claws, and he is Mark of Khorne. We then have another Chaos Lord here with a Plasma Pistol and Power Sword. As we said there, we have got the Master of Possession there, who has Cursed Earth, Sacrifice, and Infernal Power, I think is the 3 powers. We have the Warlord of the army here, who has got the Exalted Possession Warlord traits. He has, of course, has the Demon Sword there. Hopefully he'll be able to do something there. And there's Mark of Tzeentch. We then have the Vulture. He has got a Plasma Pistol and a Corrupted Corrosius and a Jump Pack there. Right. Oh, we'll carry on through the HQs here. We've got the first Sorcerer here. He has got Prescience and Warp Time. Same with that Sorcerer there. We have got a Exalted Champion with Power Axe and Combi Melter. We have our second Exalted Champion with a Power Fist and Combi Bolter. We go back to this squad here. I think that's all the HQs. Yeah, I believe that's all the HQs. We then have a squad of 5 Chaos Marines with a Plasma Pistol and a Melter Gun. Same again there. We then have a squad of 10 Chaos Marines with a Plasma Pistol and 2 Flamers. We've got our first squad of Cultists. So we have got 20 Cultists there with auto guns. We have another squad of 25 Cultists with combat weapons and auto pistols. We have the same here. We've got another squad of 20 over here. Now this one's got a Flamer in, this one's got a Flamer in, this one's got a Flamer in, and this one's got a Heavy Stubber. A lot of this is by memory, by the way, so apologies if I get any of this wrong. We have got a squad of Plague Marines back here with 2 Plasma Guns and a Plague Sword on the champion there. We've got a Rhino with Havoc Launchers. We've got another squad of Plague Marines with 2 Plasma Guns. This is a squad of 7, however. On the champion's got a Plasma Pistol and a Plague Sword, and they are got that Rhino there with a Havoc Launcher. Moving along, we have got a squad of 9 Chosen with, these are Mark of Slaanesh. We've got 3 Plasmas, a Heavy Bolter, a Plasma Pistol on the champion, and a Banner of Excess on this squad here, and another Rhino. Moving across, we have got another squad of Chosen. So we've got 4 Plasmas, a Combi Plasma on the champion, and a Rhino. We then move along a little bit more. We have 5 Chaos Space Marines with 1 bolt gun, 3 with combat weapons, 2 with bolt guns, 2 with bolt pistols and chainswords, 1 with a Plasma Pistol and a Chain X. There's no particular reason, these are just the ones I had, and I quite like the models, so that is why they're in there. There's no secret sauce behind that. Moving to the back here, we then have 5 Chaos Terminators. These are also Mark of Khorne with 3 Power Fists. We've got a Power Axe on the Reaper autocannon there. We have the Champion with a Chain Fist and a Combi Bolter. They've got a Land Raider. Standard Land Raider, however. We've got 10 Rubric Marines with Warp Flamers and a Land Raider. We have got a Sakaran there with Heavy Bolter Sponsons. We've got a little Vindicator down there. We then have the Flying Contingent, which is a Hell Talon Bomber. We've got 2 Helldrakes there with Bale Flamers. We go down onto more Demons, so just down here. We've got 3 Venom Crawlers, which are Mark of Tzeentch. We have 2 Mauler Fiends, 1 with the Tendrils, 1 with Magma Cutters. These are Mark of Tzeentch as well. We have got 6 Raptors back here. We've got 2 Plasma Pistols and a Power Sword on the champion, and a Banner. That's a Banner of Excess, and they are Mark of Slaanesh. We have got 3 squads of Raptors here. So each squad here has 2 Melter Guns and a Power Sword on that champion there. The other 2 just have Chainswords on the champions. We have 3 squads of Warp Talons. These are also squads of Mark of Tzeentch. Most of the demons here are Mark of Tzeentch, unless stated otherwise. And they are looking pretty glorious. We have got the first squad of Greater Possession. These are Mark of Tzeentch. Second squad of Greater Possession, which also Mark of Tzeentch. We've got 2 Obliterators, and they are Mark of Tzeentch. Only joking, they're Mark of Slaanesh. And then at the front here, we have got 3 Mutilators, and they are the Mark of Khorne. And that, whew, that is my whole army. Most of that was done by memory, which I'm quite impressed with. Looking pretty glorious. And let's see what it looks like on the battlefield in a moment.
Okay, so as we said before, welcome to the apocalypse. It's time to have a large game again for the year. We're doing our classic Imperium versus Chaos. So we've mainly got Wordbearers and Black Templars knocking about, with a lot of demons involved as well. So before we deploy, we thought we'd go over the battlefield, so you understand what the objectives of the game are, obviously, because it's a slightly modified 9th edition game. So as you've seen in the list, we've gone through our command points, so you should know what we've got there. So battlefield, here we are. This is 2 6x4s, and we are going to be splitting the board down the middle. So we're going from this corner all the way over to this corner in the middle, and we're going to have 12 inches either side, measured out from the centre line, and then the deployment area is everything behind that. So objective wise, we have one objective on this bastion here, we have one pretty much in the middle there, we have one on this landing pad over here, we also have one over there on that little ruin, and we have another one hiding in this little bunker over here. I'll just come over so you can see it. It's just in that little alcove there. So there's 5 objectives in total. So the key objectives, which are the ones on the board here, are worth 1 command point each to the person that holds it in their command phase. We're keeping the command phase for this game. However, there is a slight variation on the one that will be in the deployment zone. So obviously this one is in a deployment zone, and so is that one over there. They'll be worth 2 points to the enemy team if they hold it. So a little bit extra up for grabs there, trying to get into the opponent's deployment zone. We then have a few secondaries. So we have Titanic kills. So that's anything with a Titanic keyword, so like Knights, Spartan, all those kind of things. They are worth 2 points each. And then on top of that, we have our wonderful cut off the head one, which is basically every HQ that we have is worth 1 point per kill. We're not doing any warlord kills because we figured we've got enough HQs anyway, so it's not going to make that much of a difference. We've tried to make it as even as possible, which I think actually came out pretty good, but that's why we bumped the Titanics to 2 points per kill, just to even it out, because I think I had a couple more super heavies than Dom did, just to sort of round that out. So yeah, that is the board. So I guess we're going to go on to deployment. We haven't decided which side yet. We're going to do that in a minute. We're right back after the armies have deployed. Okay, so we are deployed, and as you can see here, the Templars have this side of the board in this corner. We've left it quite a sizable gap at the back here. Don't know if we're trying to tempt some deep strike in later in the game. So we're not going to go into too much detail, because obviously I think the video speaks for itself, but we'll just have a look at where various things are. So as you can see, the Templars are taking quite a strong line on this side of the board, mainly because we kind of had to fill in the amount of points we had. So over here we've got some Land Raiders, some Knights. Holding the trenches back here, we've got some standard Crusader Squads. We also have a flyer, and in that flyer we have the Chaos Terminator Squad and the company veterans. I'll try and tell you what's in the transports as well, just so you understand. Crusader Squads in there. We've got a Lieutenant hiding down here with the Hell Blasters. We then have a Rhino snuck in the middle here. That's got a 10-man Bolter Crusader Squad in there. We then have 2 squads of Assault Intercessors. The Spartan, which has a 25-man capacity, has obviously the Master of Sanctity in there, along with the Emperor's Champion and a 20-man squad of Crusaders. And then we've got the Blade Guards and some other ones sort of hiding behind these ruins here, along with some Dreadnoughts. And then over here we have a couple of Flyers. And sorry, that's not Assault Centurions. Devastator Centurions is what I'm looking for. And a couple of Razorbacks with the 2 Stern Guard squads inside it. So as we swift over to this side of the chaotic side.
Yes.
Dom, go on, speak.
Right, so we've got a big squad of cultists occupying this ruin here at the moment. Then we have a few Chaos Knights kind of scattered throughout the middle. We've got a big Demon Engine contingent in the ruins around here.
That's pretty cool. There's some Venom Crawlers in there.
Yeah, we've got some Venom Crawlers, Mauler Fiends, stuff there. We've got a couple of Land Raiders loaded with troops hanging at the back. The Flyer contingent is here, kind of preparing to launch their attack. Another squad of cultists occupying this building. We've got a squad of cultists occupying that building. We've got a few Chaos Space Marines lurking around our objective at the back here. So we'll see what happens here. And over on the right flank here...
Bit sparse, mate.
We've got a contingent of veterans of the Long War.
Oh.
All mounted up, ready to go. And in reserve, we have about 2,000 points of demons. We've got the Tyrant Knight.
I can pan over there quickly if you want, because you've got more reserves than me. So you can see that table over there is just packed full of additional stuff that's not on the board yet. Obviously some of that's in transport, which I think is that central cluster over there.
Yep.
And yeah, so now we are rolling off for the first turn here. So Dom, did you want first turn or second turn?
Yes, I'd like first turn.
He wants first turn.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to... So here we go. I'm going to roll down here. Highest number wins, no pluses or minuses. So a 6 would do me.
No.
No! Do you know what, Dom? I think I'll take first turn.
Oh, no.
So let the barrage begin. Okay, here we are, start of turn 1 for the Templars. The movement phase has ended, and as you can see here, there has been a massive tide of black and white moving up the board. So over here, we had all the Land Raiders pile up behind the advancing troop line, along with some dreadnoughts here. Bikes doing a little sneaky manoeuvre around the left here, just trying to put a bit of pressure on this lone rhino. It's going to happen. We had the Cast Assault Ram fly forward with its cargo. It's probably in quite a precarious position considering the amount of guns that can shoot at it. Other than that, we got intercessors there just holding in the middle. On the back line, we had a little bit of spacing out, but nothing major. They're obviously trying to hold this objective. There is lots of deep strike opportunity for Dom at the back here, so it could be quite messy back here later. Over here, pretty much all the troops that are on foot advanced, so the assault intercessors have advanced forward behind the Spartan here, who has rocketed forward into the maw of chaos, and then we have over here the Storm Sword also has made a move up the left hand side of this bunker, which is actually bigger than the bunker, I might add. The two knights there along with the two Moraxes there, and the two knights have moved up as well. Moving over to this side of the board, Blade Guard veteran have advanced, trying to get into the city as quickly as possible, and basically with them the Dreadnoughts have also moved up. They also advanced because there's not really much they can do with the range of weapons. Two las cannons, Stern Guard carrying Razorbacks have moved forward a little bit along with the Centurion Devastators. And then finally over here we have the two lone Storm Talons, probably fairly risky manoeuvre coming this way because there is a knight with all the Dakar on it over here, but they need to put some holes in it, I'm hoping. So that is movement. It's time to head on to some shooting. Okay, so we're just coming towards the end of the shooting phase. What we're going to do is some rolls on camera before we finish up. So we're going to have the Storm Sword here is going to fire its main cannon over into the right-hand mini knight over there. And then the las cannons and, actually just las cannons are going to go into a damaged rhino over here. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so starting off with the Storm Sword cannon, we had 9 shots rolled for. We are hitting on 4s. So I'm just running to get some dice because he realised he came all the way over here without them. So we get no rerolls or anything fancy here. So we've got 3 hits there. We are on a strength 10 profile. So we need 3s to wound the knight or the war dog, and we got 1. So Don, would you like to do your
you reroll 1s
on damage?
Oh, damage.
Damage.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm fine. That's awkward.
Well, that's really good. So now we've got the 2 las cannons going into the damaged rhino.
Yep.
And they didn't hit either. So that's
What about your heavy bolter?
well, we'll have to do the heavy bolter now, won't we? Because I mean, at least maybe get 1 wound.
Hopefully. There you go. It's better.
Oh yeah.
You can do it.
5s.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay. The laughing will become apparent very soon when we do the wrap up. So that is that part. We're going to do some more shooting. Okay. Next up, we're going to have the Spartan here firing all of its las cannons into the knight. You can just see poking out there at the back. Yeah, that's right. So let's see if they can do any better. Okay. So here goes the Spartans. 8 las cannon shots going into that knight. We have a captain and a lieutenant nearby, so re-rolling 1s in both of the phases. Might need it at this rate. Re-rolling that 1. Okay, take away all the misses. And 3s, I presume.
Yes.
Re-rolling 1s. Thank God. And this is at -4 because it's the...
Okay, we're using
you've got your invulnerable, haven't you?
shields. We're not rotating them though, because
No?
we've already done that earlier, Tom. That's a 3 gone through.
So 3d6.
Yeah, got 12 wounds. It's dead.
Bang on the nose.
No.
No. Okay, yes, I got a knight! Well, okay, well, it's a war dog, really, to be specific. But anyway, back in a second. Okay, so we have finished Black Templars shooting phase. I will be checking for some assault in a minute, but I'm not too sure. But we shall move on to see what we've actually killed other than what you saw rolled on camera. So really over here, so essentially everything in this area, ended up shooting at a Sicaran or a Rhino. That's how bad my shooting was, just so you know. So essentially we had this Predator, the las cannons off this Land Raider, this this Vindicator, this Vindicator, this Vindicator, this Predator. I think they basically all shot over at the Sicaran, along with the Flyer here. And I don't think we actually killed it with that in the end, did we? No, it was actually the Storm Sword in the end. I think the heavy bolters off here finished that off reasonably well. So we then also had obviously the Spartan you saw firing over to the night. Didn't really do too much in the end, but enough to that was what killed it though, wasn't it? So that's fine. Over here we had some las cannons and the Derridio fire over into the Knight on this side of the table, along with the Flyers up here also shooting down into the Knight, and we have taken it down to 22 wounds. It wasn't brilliant. I must confess I did roll a rather large amount of ones on wounding mainly.
It was embarrassing.
It was very embarrassing. So Dom's probably quite happy that he didn't have to have first turn now, because he's just seen, so basically
you've all come towards me.
I've come towards him, so this could be a painful turn for me. However, to sum up, we killed one Sicaran, one Venom Crawler and one Rhino, and I think a couple of
and a War Dog.
And a War Dog, sorry, yes, and a couple of Marines died in the resulting explosion of the Rhino. So I'm just going to quickly check to see if there's anything else I can do, which I suspect probably not, and we'll be right back.
Turn 1 movement for the Chaos Forces. Tom has left the room, so I'll let you into some of my plans. It's been quite a conservative move by the Chaos Forces here. Cultists survived morale just about. There's a few left, and now underneath that landing pad, hopefully prevent any deep strikers coming in. Knights have waddled over this way slightly, getting some nice line of sights against the Imperial forces there. We are going to try and target that Spartan because we need to get the guys out of it, because if that thing gets any closer, it's going to be a pain. Tom shouting, leave it alone. Land Raider here remained stationary. He's got a couple of shots down towards the Razorbacks over here. Demon Prince is up here. The Demon Engines are just kind of milling around in here. We've got the Master of Possession in there, so hopefully that will increase their save. Cultists here have fallen back. The Dark Apostle has got off Illusionary Supplication and Benediction of Darkness. So this squad here will be a -1 to hit if any Deep Strikers appear. But the other squads there have got a 5-up invulnerable around him, which is going to be quite helpful. This Land Raider here has moved up to get a nice line of sight down the field towards the rest of Tom's stuff here. We've got another Knight here. We need to try and take a couple of these Lord of Wars out quite quickly. We also have the Flyer there. The Hell Talon Bomber has gone slowly across the battlefield here, eyeing up potential targets. Now, another squad of Plague Marines have disembarked from this Rhino. So we've got one squad of Plague Marines here, another squad of Plague Marines here, a couple of Greater Possessed lurking about, and the Vindicator here. So I'm kind of hoping a combined firepower should be able to take this Knight out. Fingers crossed, stranger things have happened at sea. And the only other real thing to mention at this point is both the War Dogs have moved to get into good firing points to fire down the road here, maybe into the Spartan, maybe trying to pop out a couple of those Razorbacks there. We will see. But as I said, generally it's been quite a conservative move here by the Chaos Forces. We're hoping to lure them in a little bit more while our reinforcements appear from the rear. Right, so let's move on to Turn 1, Psychic and Shooting for the Wordbearers. Turn 1, Psychic and Shooting for the Chaos Forces. So down here we used Trail of Destruction on this Knight here. He's also pumped up with the Infernal ability, and he's got the Relic as well. He essentially fired everything into the Spartan, which is now gone. The Spartan took a lot of damage and was kind of like whimpering along. This Knight joined in as well to try and finish him off, didn't do anything. The Spartan was very resilient, and the War Dogs down there fired as well. A Venom Crawler fired, and eventually, with the last shot from the Venom Crawler, came in, taking out the Spartan. It didn't explode, however, and 6 neophytes were killed as they disembarked, as it was on fire, and they were only neophytes. The Land Raider at the back here fired everything into the Centurions, only killing one, unfortunately, which was a bit of a pain. During the Psychic phase, however. Down here, the Master of Possession got off Cursed Earth there, so all the demons there have got +1 to their demon save, ready for the Templar assault. Moving across the field, we had some firing up into the assault ramp. So the las cannons here fired, the Hell Talon fired its las cannon and the auto cannon. The auto cannon on the Hell Talon here, on a roll of a 6 for wounding, does 1 mortal wound. So, oh dear. Went in here and only did a couple of wounds with both of those firing at it. 1 mortal wound from the Hell Talon and I think 1 wound from the Land Raider. Very embarrassing. Down here, however, we fired everything we had into the Combat Knight. So the Havoc launch is fired, the Combi Bolt is fired, we used Veteran on the Long War on this squad here. That squad fired as well. Both the plasma guns killed themselves. Whoops. And took this knight down to 15 wounds. So he's taken 9 wounds so far. We're going to try a charge. It's the only thing to do at this point. It's either we charge him or he charges us. So in the assault phase, in a moment, we will be charging into that beast, hopefully doing some damage to him, but probably dying. But yeah, it's quite good taking out the Spartan. That was 2 victory points straight away for the Chaos Forces there. And it's lowered their damage range at the moment. So they're not going to do that much, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Spartan! There you go, Tom crying about his Spartan in the background. So yeah, the battlefield is still looking quite impressive. Lots of Templars to hack through. We're going to move into Turn 1 Assault for the forces of chaos. So assault, turn 1 for the Wordbearers. So both Plague Marine squads and the Greater Possessed charged in here. Now with the Greater Possessed, I used Revered Host stratagem to add 1 to his damage. I also used Veterans of the Long War there, so he'd be wounding knights on 4. And he did very well. He did 9 wounds to the big knight here. The Plague Marines also charged in, no stratagems on them, but they did do 1 extra wound there with their plague weapons. They suffered 1 wound on a Plague Marine, because at the moment we are playing with the Plague Marines having 2 wounds until, of course, we know what happens with the codex. Who knows? But the Plague Marines took 1 wound, and that was all the damage this knight could deal out. He did 5 attacks on each of the units here, so 5 on the Possessed, 5 on that squad, and 5 on that squad, and only 1 wound went through. So not great for the knight there. He has been bracketed again, and that is the end of turn 1 for the Wordbearers. So although we haven't possibly killed as much as the Black Templars, we have badly wounded 1 knight, and we have taken out the Spartan. So let's move on to turn 2 for the filthy Black Templars.
So at the end of turn 1 for both sides, the scores stand at the Forces of Chaos with 2 points and the Black Templars and Imperium down to 0 points. So with that in mind, here is the battlefield. Enjoy. Here we are at the end of turn 2 movement for the Black Templars. On this side of the board, we've had another steady move forward, trying to get things into range. The Intercessors actually were on this objective at the beginning, but we have moved on to it solidly now, so we actually scored a point there. This bike squad has shot round the corner, trying to pick off this side's little rhino here. I don't know how well that's going to go. They're being closely followed by the Relic Contemptor here. Then all the tanks have moved up to get all their weapons in range. I must admit on this side, there's a lot of stuff still sitting in rhinos, which I've got to get out. The damaged knight managed to put himself out of combat, and the other knight has pulled into his spot ready to blast away this tiny squad of Nurgle rot. The 2 Morax knights have moved up towards the centre of the table because they've got plenty of shooting options in that direction. Other than that, at the back line here, things have stayed relatively static. A couple of little moves from the captain. The Crusader Squad here at the back has made an advanced move towards this side of the board because they're not going to get at the table, and I think over here could become a hot spot soon. Everything here, infantry-wise, has advanced, so the assault intercessors have moved up. They didn't get very good advance rolls, though, so they're feeling a little bit out of the fight at the moment, but we've still got a couple more, well, 3 more turns to get in there. Likewise, this Crusader squad did an advance roll after doing Emperor's Will, and they can technically charge up there, but we might keep them near the objective. We don't know yet. Blade Guards obviously charge up there. The 2 Forge Welder Dreadnoughts here have moved up normally, so they can still fire all their weapons. Likewise with the Razorbacks and the Centurions here. And then over this side of the board, we've got the 2 little Storm Talons making their way up the side of the board, ready to shoot some chaos in the back. I mean, they'll be used to it by now because they do it a lot themselves. And then finally, over here, we have the surviving Cast Assault Ram with its payload inside it, ready to drop, hopefully next turn. We shall see. I don't know if it's going to survive. It's in the midst of several high-powered guns, but we shall see. It did manage to get through the last turn relatively unscathed. So that is movement. Let's head on to do some shooting. Here we are at the end of the shooting phase in turn 2 for the Imperium. So we had quite a few things happen on this side of the board. So at the back we had these 2 Storm Talons fire their main weapons into the knight that was here, and the assault cannons obviously into this squad down here. They didn't do too well against that. However, they did inflict several wounds on this knight here before it died. However, it did take the combined firepower of these 2 sets of las cannons, the Derriere here, and a few shots from these Centurions to finish off that knight. So it has netted me 2 points there, which is nice. And then things over here happened by basically this Leviathan firing into here and actually doing a fair amount of wounds. It's down to 14 wounds, so not too bad. And it fired its 300 kilometers. They actually did nothing, so not brilliant from that point of view, but overall pretty good phase on that side of the board. And then we kind of panned over to here. So we basically had this whole line here. So we're talking the Storm Sword fired over into this Morax. I keep calling it Morax for some reason. The War Dog over there didn't do much damage, did it, Dom? No, I think it was about 4 damage in the end. Yeah, so not brilliant. Then skipping on to the bits that happened over here, we had basically the Vindicators, this Predator, these 2 Dreadnoughts, these 2 Land Raider Crusaders, this Vindicator, and the 2 Knights concentrate their fire on these Plague Marines down here, which, as you can see, have gone. However, it did take a lot of shots because Dom had some very good rolls on his Feel No Pains, but also because we're playing with 2 wounds on them, so they took a little bit longer to kill, and that's very evident as we can see here. So, and then finally we had the Land Raider here, and some of these guys here shoot over into this Rhino, but didn't manage to do much to that, unfortunately. I think it was just a few shots off from the bolters in the end, actually, interestingly. So yeah, oh, sorry, at the back over here, the Flyer, the Castus Ram here, fired its melter into this Land Raider and did, I think it was 2 wounds.
2 wounds, yep.
And the Hellfire missiles into this squad down here, taking 3 or 4 off, I think it was.
Leadership, Tom.
You do, but I've also got the 2 lightning locks here also fired in, which did the majority of that damage, I think. You'd be fair to say.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Leadership, so I need a 1. But I'll re-roll because of being a word bearer. Oh, no, so he's dead.
He's dead, so that squad's actually been wiped from that point. We will have a little bit of combat coming up, so we'll be right back in a minute with Templars turn 2 Assault. Okay, so at the end of the combat phase in turn 2 for the Templars, over here both knights charged the Possessed and the remaining Plague Marine. Didn't quite go to plan. I mean, they are dead. However, the Possessed interrupted after the Gallant failed to kill him in the first round of combat, after him doing 2 wounds to him. And then the Great Possessed did 6 wounds to the fresh knight over here, and another 2 for this one over here. So, yeah, that was quite painful for me, considering there's a lot more of those Possessed on the board still. And then as we swing over to the back end of the board over here, because there's one other little combat of not much note, to be fair, which is at the back, was Rhinos versus Bikes. The Bikes took no damage and the Rhino is down to 6 wounds. So that is combat in turn 2 for the Imperial side. Let's see how Chaos does in their turn 2.
Right, so turn 2 movement for the Wordbearers. So the Wordbearers have pushed up. They have launched their counterattack against the incursion from the Black Templars with the aid of the demons from the warp. We've got a Bloodthirster that's come in there, Demon Prince backing up these 2 Venom Crawlers, and we got a Helldrake up there. Across down here, we've got another Demon Prince has jumped out, as well as the Mauler Fiend here. A Chaos Sorcerer and Terminator armor is now landed in this building here. It's rematerialized, looking down upon the filthy Templars. Over here, another Chaos Knight coming round this flank. Down here, Scarbrand himself is eyeing up that Leviathan, and hopefully that will pay off. We've got a squad of Bloodletters that have also materialised next to them. We've got Cornet Mutilators here that are just looking at this Crusader squad thinking, maybe today Mutilators will be our day. Squad of Bloodletters has materialised on this landing pad here, securing that, because currently a squad of cultists are holding it, so the Bloodletters have decided that it's probably a good idea we put something a bit more meaty up there. On the back flank here, Tom's home objectives there. A Chaos Force has also come in. We've got 2 squads of Raptors, Oraka the War Fiend here, a Chaos Lord in Terminator armour, Corkid, and a squad of Chaos Terminators have materialised on the backfield as well, behind the Imperial lines. Hopefully also preventing the Imperial forces from able to reinforce there with any Terminators. Over here, the Rubrics have decided to come out here between the 2 Storm Talons, hopefully able to do something to those beasts before they carry on killing our poor cultists, our followers. We also got Benediction of Darkness and Illusionary Supplication going on down here, so it's -1 to hit these guys again, and everyone within 6 gets a 5-up save. 2 squads of Chaos Marines have disembarked with melter guns and plasma pistols in front of the flyer here. The Land Raiders backed up a little bit there. Squad of Marines are just holding back here with a Sorcerer there. Over here, the Mauler Fiend has poured around from the corner towards those 2 knights there, and hopefully can do something against those beasts, but we will see. The Greater Possessed, which was by the Rhino, has now roared forwards towards those 2 knights. He is joined by another Greater Possessed who's jumped out as well. Over here, squads of Chosen have now disembarked and are bravely assaulting the hill, which is currently being held by the Marines there. And we've got the flyer there, which is going to do a bombing run in a moment on that squad there. The Helldrake here has also moved up to add a bit of fire support. We've got a Greater Possessed down here as well. So it's all action for the Chaos Forces. They've launched a counter-attack. There's still a lot in reserve. So currently in reserve, I have 50 more Bloodletters, a Soul Grinder, squad of 8 Blood Crushers, 15 Warp Talons, 10 Raptors, some Obliterators, some Chaos Lords. I've still got guys embarked in transport, and of course, the Herald, the Chaos Knight Tyrant is in reserve as well. There is a lot there still to come. And also with the Marines, they have a lot of Assault Marines and Veterans still in reserve as well. This battlefield is getting bloody. Now let's move on to turn 2, Psychic and Shooting for Chaos. Turn 2, Psychic and Shooting for Chaos. So down here, this Wordbearer Sorcerer here cast Death Hex down onto this squad of Blade Veterans there. He had to use a stratagem which essentially lets him cast it without any denies, although he did take a mortal wound for that. Down here as well, we had Cursed Earth go off, so the demons currently within 6 inches get an increase to their invulnerable save, the Wordbearer ones anyway. And we did a Smite as well. And this guy's been taken down to 3 wounds, which is quite good there. Shooting wise, the Venom Crawlers didn't do anything. I was kind of hoping for some, like a nice little tricky shot, but nope, nothing unfortunately. Magma Cutters came in here from the Mauler Fiend, doing 6 wounds to the Razorback. The Melter Cannon here fired off into Deradio there and did like 1 wound. It was pretty embarrassing. Across here, the Rubric Marines have taken this Storm Talon down to 2 wounds here. This one was hit by the Lamb Raider, which is over there, and taken him down to 5 wounds there. Across both the War Dogs that remain there were firing up into the Cassius Assault Ramp and didn't really do anything to them, unfortunately. Although Melter Fire and Plasma Pistol Fire from down here has taken him down to 5 wounds, although I feel that is too late now to really cause any impact there. Helldrake here fired down into this knight, doing 4 wounds on him with its Bale Flamer. Down across here, Havoc Launchers were firing into the wounded knight, as well as the Demolisher Cannon there. Unfortunately, it took him down to 1 wound with all that firepower, but then the Hell Talon fired off its shots into it, ripped it apart, causing it to crumple to the ground. Good times. A few of these intercessors have been killed off through plasma fire and bolt pistol fire from down on this chosen squad as they fired in. They also got hit by the Hell Talon in the movement phase with the bomber, killing off 2 of the intercessors there. Battle Flamer as well came in, causing a little bit of damage. The squad's been reduced to half strength. Bikes have been hit by a chosen squad of plasmas down here. Unfortunately, 2 of the plasmas killed themselves, as is the way. But we did do Endless Cacophony and reduced the squad down to 2. So quite a nice bit of shooting going on there. Across on the backfield, I mean, the action is everywhere on this battlefield. It's quite hard to remember where things are going on. But you just look at this battlefield. It is pretty impressive. Down here, we've got the Raptors and the Terminators. So these Raptors fired in here, causing 1 wound on there. These Raptors fired the bolt pistols in as well, didn't do anything here. However, the melter gun and the 5 Terminators here killed off the lieutenant there. So we have killed a HQ kill, which is quite nice. We're now going to move on into the assault phase, and this is where it all counts. If some of these charges go off, it should hopefully put the Wordbearers in the lead. Let's find out in turn to assault, Wordbearers. Right, end of turn to assault for Chaos, and wow, that was particularly bloody. So over here, the Raptors made their charge in there. I don't think they actually did much to that squad there, but they have engaged them in combat, which is the main thing. Across here, the Mutilators got successful charging. Charged all the way in with strength 6, minus 3 AP, 2 damage, and killed nobody. Didn't even wound. The Marines fought back in their phase and did 2 wounds to one of the Mutilators, so they are just holding in there, and maybe next turn it will flip around. Across here, Scarbrand, Old Man Scarbrand, charged into the Leviathan Dreadnought, dealing 17 wounds. Being a Leviathan, he then blew up, causing mortal wounds all around here. Not good for Tom's forces there. Down here, the Mauler Fiend charged into the Razorback there, destroying that and consolidating into the next Razorback. The squad disembarked, taking no casualties there at all. The squad of Bloodletters, which were back here, they failed their charge, which is a bit of a shame, because because one of the Centurions also did die, by the way, in the explosion from the Leviathan. It was a big explosion. Down here, Demon Prince charged in there. Unfortunately, Tom used his counter-attack and killed off the Demon Prince there. Down here, one of the Dreadnoughts has fallen. The other one killed off the Venom Crawler. The Venom Crawler also exploded, dealing out mortal wounds everywhere. The Demon Prince charged in here, killing off maybe 1 Marine, and has taken 7 wounds in total. So he's really hurt there. The Great Demon of Khorne back here has failed his charge. The Venom Crawler there also failed his charge. So there are a few units that didn't quite make it into combat, and the Marines were able to fend back a lot of the attacks which were coming in. There was no combat back here. It was pretty much everyone just hanging about, waiting for the next lot of reinforcements to drop in. Across here, the Mauler Fiend charged round the corner into both of the knights there, killing off one of the knights there, taking a couple of hits from Overwatch. These things, geez, the amount of firepower they can pour out through Overwatch and stratagems, it's disgusting. So the Mauler Fiend has taken some damage. He's down to 7. That knight is on 8. Down here as well, this knight is just hanging in with 1 wound there, killing off one of the Greatly Possessed. The other one came in, well, both of them came in, charged, taking him down to 1 wound. The fight back, unfortunately, killed off one of the Greatly Possessed. The other Greatly Possessed is hanging in there on 4 wounds, and that Plague Marine champion is still there, still fighting away with his Plague Sword. Might be the one to kill off the knight. Who knows? Along here, we had another fight. The Chosen ran up the hill into the Intercessor squad there. Tom hasn't done his morale, but they have suffered quite a lot in this phase. They've lost 6 so far in this turn. And they did a lot of attacks because, of course, they've also got the Icon of Excess. So the Icon of Excess is definitely False Emperor goes off on a 5 rather than a 6. And yep, they have been charged into this bunker. They haven't taken any casualties yet, but they are holding on there. Down here, the other squad are chosen and the greater possessed charged into the remaining bikes, destroying them. It has been a very, very bloody assault phase. Both sides have suffered casualties. The Wordbearers and Chaos Forces have just about come out of it a little less bloody, but it's all to change now as we go into turn 3 for the Black Templars.
And at the end of turn 2, the scores stand at 7 for the Forces of Chaos and 5 for the Forces of the Imperium. And as you can see here, the table is looking pretty good. I'll leave you with some shots of the table. And here we are at the end of turn 3 movement for the Imperial side. Black Templars everywhere on the board now. All of my units are down on the table. I have one unit still in a transport, which is down here. Still to get out, but I have decided not to get them out this turn. So let's go on and have a look at how things ended up after the movement phases ended. So over here we had a double drop of jump troops on this flank. So we had some Vanguard vets drop in, along with the Assault Squad as well, with jump packs. Hopefully looking to sweep up this side a little bit, so it's going to be quite a challenge for them. I think there's quite a few land raiders knocking about still. This flyer was moving only 20, so you had to hop over this way and land just in this little kind of thoroughfare here. It's got a little target there. We'll see how he gets on. We had the Cast Assault Ram have to make a bit of a limping move this way because he didn't really have much go either. So all these are pretty much down to 20, except for this one here, who can move 35 inches, and he is currently sitting over here with the Land Raider as an option, some other troops there. And then before the Cast Assault Ram moved on, it just unloaded 2 squads here, one 5-man company veteran squad and the Chaos Terminators, ready to hopefully beat some Wordbearer arse. Yeah? No, Dom? You don't think so? Then moving over here, we had a squad of Terminators dropping on the backfield with the Chapter Master and Chaplain giving them a little bit of support as well. Nothing, and the what this?
Don't worry about it. Don't move.
Don't worry. Dom doesn't want me to knock this over, so I'm trying to be very careful because I'm desperately trying not to knock it over because I've already knocked one of his models off the table today already. So, other than that, we have had this Land Raider stay still. We have also had the Predator and the Vindicator move up a little bit, along with the Dreadnought. These 2 Dreadnoughts have flanked the retreating Knight to try and get rid of these possessed here because they've been really annoying, and the last Chaos Plague Marine, I should say. These 2 Crusaders have stayed still. And as I move over to this backfield part of the board, we have had some Terminator support drop in here, very precision-like into the ramparts here, along with their Terminator Chaplain, just to give them a little bit of support. We'll see if they can get rid of these. However, they do have a Demon Prince still sitting over here, which is a Raka. It's a bit annoying. Other than that, in the centre of the table, we have had this squad of Assault Intercessors use Emperor's Will and advance, so they're ready to hopefully do a charge, maybe on the Demon Prince. They're feeling lucky. Great Demon of Corn, sorry.
Yeah,
Great.
good luck.
I'll need it, but I'm okay with it. The other Assault Intercessor squad has moved up normally just to get into the fray here, along with the Blade Guard veterans trying to deal with this nice little Scarbrand chap down here. We'll see how that goes. I think it should be all right. Never sure with Demon Princes, it never goes well for me. Oh, sorry, we also had the Suppressors drop straight in the middle here just to give a little bit of support around the table. So that's pretty much where everything is as we've moved around the table. We'll now head on into the shooting phase in turn 3 for the Black Templars. Okay, so at the end of turn 3 shooting for the Black Templars, over here we had the Terminators that had dropped in here, along with all the squads in this line here, fire into the Terminators. Now, yes, there are only 2 Terminators left. However, on the flip side over here, the Hellblasters decided to fire in overcharged and managed to kill 3 of their own number, which wasn't particularly pleasant for me. So there's still quite a bit over here to contend with, and there's still lots more in reserve, so I have to see how that goes. Then as we move over to the centre of the table here, we had quite a few shots flying off in random directions. The main thing that took the most punishment was the knight over here, which is now on 1 wound. However, that did take a lot of shots. That took a few more dead plasmas in here, because a lot of 1 rolling, which was not good on my part, because I was just out of range for re-rolls. So I lost 2 overcharges. However, the grav cannons and the grav guns of the stern guard all fired into it as well, but again, we only managed to take it down to 1, and I ran out of weapons, including after shooting the Derrideer here with all of its weapons. I still couldn't find anything else to get that last wound off, so I might have to do it in combat. I thought the Centurion down here could possibly uppercut it in the face with a kind of a powered leap off that crate. No? Don't think so, Dom? No. No? All right, well, we'll see, we'll see. In the middle here, we had the Ironclad fire all its weapons into the Venom Crawler, along with, I think that was all that shot it in the end. Oh, the Lascan, that was it, but it didn't quite kill it, did it? I think we left it on, it's on 8 wounds, yes? I think so, yep. The suppressors down here in the middle fired everything over into, which I'm actually trying to remember what I shot that in, you know?
Suppressors into the Great Demon.
It was into the Great Demon,
yeah.
Which did nothing.
No.
Yeah, that's right, I didn't do it, that's why I couldn't remember what it was, didn't do bugger all really. Moving over to here, we had the flyer here fire down into actually the Land Raider, but we didn't do anything because he rolled 1 on his wound. We had this Storm Talon fire into this squad's down here, but we only managed to take out a couple, along with the help of the Terminators here, who also fired all of their combi bolters and special weapons into this squad here, and still didn't quite wipe them out. They were a 5-man squad, so they're only down to 2. Shifting over to the back end over this table, no shots are over here because nothing was really in range of shooting. However, the Land Raider here fired over into the Vindicator that was here, managing to take it. Actually, I don't think it killed it. It took it down to, I think it was a couple of wounds, and it was finished off with another shot from over here. And also we had the Vindicator Destroyer fire up at the the Helldrake that was up here, but is no longer. It wasn't what killed it. It was actually that was the Storm Sword that managed to finish that off fairly. Then we had the Knight shoot over here at a Rhino that was here. I managed to take that out. There's nothing actually in that one, which I didn't realise until after I shot it, so I probably should have checked that beforehand. But yeah, other than that, nothing else really happened. So quite a lot died, but nothing of note. So we're just thinning out some of the ranks, and we're going to sort of head on to the combat phase now and see if we can light up some combat. Okay, so we're just cutting into turn 3 assault for the Black Templars here, and we're going to just do a little combat here between the Centurion and Knight, who is currently on 1 wound. So let's cut straight into here. So let me cut straight over to the roll here. So we're looking at 5 attacks here for the Centurion Sergeant. He's the only one left in the squad. He needs 3s to hit. And he's hit 3 times.
Oh my goodness.
And then we're needing 5s to wound. 2 wounds. Oh. Dom needs a 3. Oh no! Does he re-roll that? Oh, he's re-rolling it. He's command point.
I can't lose 1 knight to a Centurion.
Oh, okay. So the Knight lives. We're back in a minute with the rest of the recap. So we've just finished turn 3 assault for Black Templars. Over here, the Terminator Squad's Chaplain and the Chapter Master here and the Dreadnought all failed their charges. So Dom was very happy about that. I don't blame him, because it's quite an interesting turn this turn, I think, so far. Over here, the Dreadnought made his charge in and managed to take out a couple of the Chosen. However, the Chosen did hit back and kill more of my intercessors over here. The Knight survives to fight another day due to his little friend, Baby Dreadnought here, who killed the really dangerous Plague Marine because he was too scared to go into combat with it. But I think he had good reason. He basically, these Knights here haven't lost a single wound to anything except for possessed and Plague Marines. So over here we also had the guys that got out the transport here made their charges. I was a bit disappointed with this one here, but they've knocked these squads down to 2 men here and wiped the other one out, so not too bad. The company veterans, on the other hand, decided that they were not very veteran, I think could be the best term. Yeah, and the Sorcerer basically just wiped the heads off a couple of them, quite satisfactory for them. So yes, they are now probably in a little bit of trouble because they've also a Lord here. I was kind of hoping to just deal with the Lord on his own, but sadly not. Anyway, we're going to swing over to this side of the table now. And in the back line for the Templars over here, obviously we've still got all these nice little things crouching back here, still demon prints to deal with. We still can't quite beat the Raptors, but then saying that neither can they beat us. So it's one of those classic Raptors versus Space Marines thing, which is essentially just going to stay for a couple more turns, I think, until the end of the game. Nothing else happened over here because nothing else was in charge range. This battle here, Dom's not happy bunny with his mutilators. I must admit, I've never seen so many failed wounds on. But you killed a couple this time, didn't you? So which is good.
Yeah. We get slowly win.
And we managed to just take a wound off one, which killed one of them. So. Over here, Scarbrand finally fell. However, he did very, very well this turn. Obviously, having killed the veterans and the captain. So can't really say fairer than that, really. And yes, and likewise, the knight here, as you saw, the first part of it where the Centurion managed to wound, he re-rolled to save him. Then he fought back, and then the knight stomped him into a small paste under his feet. In the centre here, unfortunately for Dom, another Demon Prince fell, but the Emperor Champion took the honours, even though he was on one wound. I think that was a bit of a cheap shot, really. Very brave of him. So, yes, and over here, the blood letters up on the table were destroyed by the Vanguard veterans quite nicely. However, over here, the rubrics proving a little bit too much of a match for the standard jump troops over here, because I think you killed three, I think. Three or four. And I think I only killed one in return. If that's correct, I believe. You killed three. Oh, you killed two. No, I killed two. Okay, I do. Oh, it was the Eviscerator. Sorry, the Eviscerator on the Sergeant did something. That's correct, because the actual normal weapons did nothing because of the 2-up save that you had. And I think there's a couple of little things pinged here and there. So we had, I think, a little fight with the Mauler Fiend and the Razorback, which nothing happened in, unsurprisingly. And that's about it, really. So, it's getting quite interesting in the board. Dom's turn 3's coming up, and he's got quite a few things coming on for reserve.
On the third day!
Yeah, I think he keeps saying on the third day, which I assume he means possibly his large knight, which is going to be Blood Dalf, as I'm calling him, because he's kind of blood and...
The Herald!
He's the Herald. The Herald of...
Herald cometh!
On the third day. I don't know which side of the board he's coming on. There's no... I mean, Helm's Deep would look like probably over here, so I guess we'll have to see what happens. So we'll be right back in a minute with turn 3 for the Wordbearers.
Turn 3 movement for the Chaos Forces. So if we look down here, the Warlord and the Vulture are both turned up with a retinue of Raptors. Also, squads of Warp Talons have also manifested across the battlefield. The Wounded Knight is stumbling back after uppercutting or squishing the last Centurion. Bloodletters over on this flank here are moving up towards the Marine line there, hopefully to interfere and cause some death. The Hell Talon Bomber is flying low over the Imperial forces back here. The Raptors have fallen out of combat and now jumped on this side of the battlements because more stuff has appeared in the backfield here. So we've got a squad of Warp Talons here. That squad of Raptors are pushed up towards the character Blump there. Oraka is there, but behind Oraka, the Herald is finally here. He is marched onto the battlefield, joined by 30 Bloodletters on the backfield as well. They are all coming in force now. They want to claim this Imperial position. A squad of 5 Raptors has come in here as well to draw a bit of fire away. The Chosen are moving up this way, away from the Terminators. They're just drawing fire for now. A Rhino is going flat out towards that position as well. What's on that Rhino? In that Rhino, I hear you call. It is the last forces, so 5 Marines, a Sorcerer, a couple of Champions. The Soul Grinder has appeared also on the battlefield here, joined by 20 more Bloodletters, and they will be charging towards the armoured lines of the Templars. Over in the city area here, the Bloodthirsters moved forward slightly, joined here by the Blood Crushers with the Banner of Blood. 2 Obliterators have appeared behind them as well. As this fight continues down here, the 2 Chaos Space Marines have dropped out of combat, so the Land Raider can put some fire in, as well as the Obliterators, hopefully to do a bit of damage against the filthy Imperial forces. But this battlefield is looking epic. There are fights going on everywhere, and the death toll on either side is horrendous. Bodies lay everywhere. Wrecks, you know, laying on top of other wrecks. It's pretty devastating stuff. So we're going to move in now to psychic and shooting, turn 3 for chaos. Turn 3, psychic and shooting for the chaos forces. So down here, right here, we have 2 melter guns that fired in there, taking this predator down to 4 wounds, which is quite handy there. Over here, we had a bit of mixed results here. We did 1 wound pistols into combat there. The plasma guns, etc., tried to overcharge and fire into that dreadnought, actually killing off 2 of the chosen. Sad times. The Havoc launchers and all 3 rhinos fired into the knight, destroying the knight. Luckily, yeah, Tom's trying to remember what happened. But yeah, on the 1 wound, he stumbled down. Not blowing up, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately.
Moving over here, we had a bit more luck. We had characters dying left, right and centre, so you may notice that a couple of characters are dead here. The chaplain suffered 12 wounds from raptors firing into him there. The lieutenant's dead, the Primaris captain's taken some wounds, and most importantly, the Marines have been cleared off of that objective from fire, mainly from the conflagration cannon on the knight back here, came in and just incinerated that squad. Absolutely devastating. A couple other shots came in from the Chaos Terminators there, just killing off the last one there. Moving across the field. We haven't got that much shooting, but we have tried our best here. So we have magma cutters going in here, taking this guy down to 2 wounds. The knight got 1 shot that went in and took 5 wounds off of the Derridier there. And I think that was pretty much about it. Oh, no, I'll tell you what happened. On the backfield, we had the Obliterators came in and devastated this squad of Terminators in the rear here. So they are all gone. The only thing left of the Black Templar forces that landed on the objective are these 3 here. Hopefully, they will soon perish.
Also did some damage to the flyer.
Yeah, and a bit of damage as well to the assault ramp here. A las cannon fire came in from this Land Raider here, leaving it on, frustratingly, 1 wound. Yes. Unbelievable. So yeah, and that's it. And also, actually, a side note, because Tom was mocking the Hell Talon earlier, the Hell Talon actually fired and killed off the lieutenant that was standing here. So well done on that one, Hell Talon. So it's gone pretty well for Chaos. Although there is a massive line of Black Templar armour stretched across the battlefield that has almost been untouched. Very frustrating. So we're going to move into turn 3 assault for Chaos. End of turn 3 assault for the Chaos forces. So starting over here, this fight came to an end with the Chosen killing off the last of the Intercessors and jumping onto this objective here. So they are now holding that objective. For how long? We'll see. Over here, the Soul Grinder made a charge into the Dreadnought, taking a few wounds off of him, taking 3 wounds. Unfortunately, he did take 12 wounds back. Ouch! Over here, the Bloodletters failed their charge. However, Tom did an Overwatch, knowing it's a big squad, and also missed there, so that was quite lucky. Down here, the Chaos Lord charged in there, killed off a couple, and the remaining veterans there killed off the Sorcerer, so they have scored a point there. There is a bitter battle going on there, a last stand for the last final veteran, the last member of the attack force that was launched upon this part of the battlefield. Moving over here, another Rubric Marine fell, but also another Assault Marine fell there. So they're slowly whittling each other down. Now, moving over here, we had several charge attempts, and everyone failed, unfortunately. So we've got 2 Lords down there, got Raptors here, Warp Talons there, everything failed. Not good. Across here, however, the Mauler Fiend killed off the Razorback. It didn't explode. He then consolidated into this squad here. The squad of 10 Bloodletters came in, killing quite a few of the veterans off. So there's 4 veterans left, 1 by himself, and these 3 here. It's been very bloody. Down here we have a Bloodthirst that's charged into the squad of Intercessors there. They they did an interrupt there and did several wounds onto my poor Bloodthirster, lowering him down to 9 wounds. Because of his exalted ability, he's regained 1 after he killed 4 of the assault intercessors there. Ha 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 ha. The Blood Crushers here did a charge into the Dreadnought and the Crusaders, killing a couple of Crusaders and destroying the Dreadnought there. Tom, however, did not do any heroic intervention, kind of thinking, it's not the right time, prepare my blade. So that'll be coming in his turn 4. Down here, the Mutilators continue their fight against the Crusaders, killing off 4 more of the Crusader squad, taking 2 wounds on that Mutilator. So they are holding their own, just about. If it's going to happen, it will probably happen next turn. We'll see what happens, but fingers crossed. Down here, lots of failed charges once again. The Raptors charged in up onto the captain in Gravis armor up here and did nothing, although he did then kill 3 of the Raptors. Araka, the War Fiend, charged over the battlements there, killing off several of the Crusader squad there and gaining a few extra abilities. So those who don't know, Araka's got a table. Once he starts slaughtering people, his stats change. So now he's got +2 strength, +1 attack, and +1 movement. He is a beast. And that table continues throughout the game. So if he kills off these 3, he's going to be in a very good place. However, the lightning claws on the Blade veteran there, or Blade brother, I don't know what these sergeants are called off the top of my head, did 1 wound back on Araka, just for a bit of a vengeance. And that was it. So it's been a very bloody turn. We've cleared off Templars off 2 objectives. And prevented them really from getting a 3rd. So this is going to be quite interesting to see what happens with the score in turn 4. Right, so over to Black Templars in turn 4.
So turn 3 has come to an end, and the scores are currently standing at 10 to the Imperium and 14 to the Forces of Chaos. And I think in these final 2 turns, things are going to hot up because we are only going to turn 5 due to the size of the game. However, let's have a look at the battlefield as it stands. Okay, so at the top of turn 4 for the Black Templars, movement has finished. Obviously no more reserves now, so everything is on the table that it's ever going to be. I scored 1 point this turn because I was holding the central objective over there. However, movement-wise, we had the Vanguard veterans here hop off the platform and drop down because I need to deal with the cultists if they do want to hold this objective. It can be held from the bottom floor, just for reference if anyone's looking at that. Nothing on this side really moved because they're all locked in combat. The Flyers have all kind of gone a bit mad and sweeped around, and this one has ended up over here. He's also assaultable at the moment because he's in hold mode. He has 1 wound left, so I don't know if he's going to survive much longer. Dom says he's useless.
He is.
But I don't know. I think he's still got something in him. And then this Storm Talon has moved over here because he's still the one that can move the furthest. So he's come to lend a hand in this area of the battlefield. This Storm Talon has moved slightly this way because he can probably assist with these bloodletters maybe. We will see. The Knight, or the Knight Morax, and the Vindicator have moved up because I'm just conscious that there's still potentially a chance I could get on here with a decent move, but I do have to clear out a lot of stuff in the area, so we'll see how that goes. And over here, most stuff has moved forward. So we had the Chapter Master and the Chaplain jump up here, ready to pounce down upon these Chosen. We've had the Terminators move down this flank along with the Relic Contemptor, and this Dreadnought in the centre along with the Vindicator. The Land Raid has decided to stay put for the moment, as has this Predator. The 2 Land Raider Crusaders have turned around, noticing that there's a lot of bodies back here and someone needs to deal with them. So you including this thing. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with that. However, we have put a lot of firepower in this direction. We have turned around the Vindicator Destroyer, the Las Cannon Predator, the Venerable Dreadnought, and we've moved this back slightly just to give him a choice if he wants to shoot in this direction. He might need to. Terminators have shuffled around. We have jumped ourselves back up on the objective just about, and then into the centre of the board where there's been a lot of shuffling around. The Master Sanctity has put Fires of Devotion onto this Assault Intercessor squad, and also he has got his reroll litany off, so he is ready to assist where he can. However, the Bloodletters are going to be a problem. And then finally, Master of the Forge has moved up, repaired the Deradio, who's going to hopefully deal with this little problem over here. We shall see though. And then finally, the Blade Guard veterans have just come to shore up this area because they need to get rid of these guys and the Forge Fiend. The Forge Fiend could be a problem, but we shall see. That is the movement done. We're now going to head on to do some shooting, and let's see what happens. Okay, end of turn 4 shooting for the Black Templars Imperium. And this is not the most un-one-dimensional shooting phase I've had. So basically, I manoeuvred most stuff to try and shoot at the knight in this corner. So let's have a look here. We shot this here as well. We also shot the suppressors here. We shot the Alias missile launcher from the top on here. We shot the heavy weapons from this Terminator squad down here. We shot the plasma guns from the actual Devastators here, and we also shot the main cannon off the top of this Predator, and this one, and the las cannons off the Land Raider there. I think that was everything. In all seriousness, I said the Deradio top.
Terminators?
Yeah, Terminators as well. Yep. Yeah, I did Hellblast as well. Yeah. It died, but it took all of that to do it, and it was literally one wound at the end, and it was really frustrating me, and unfortunately I got a little bit blinkered. So other things on the board may not have got as many shots as they deserved. However, it didn't go too badly, to be fair. So the on top of that, the main cannons off the Deradio here managed to finish off the knight that was over here as well, so that got me another 2 points there for the Titanics. And then we came over here for a few shots with the Flyers, nothing really of note other than the fact that the Cast Assault Round did manage to take out one Obliterator with a pretty lucky shot. And then essentially here are the Flyers that were in range shot their main weapons over at a Rhino here, taking it down to 3. And the Assault Cannons, the Lightning Lock, and this Vindicator all shot into this big blob of Bloodletters. I think we killed a few off? 9, I think it was 9 off. Yeah, that's about yeah, and then basically other than that, all the other main concentration into this area, there wasn't much left. So this Vindicator, this Dreadnought, and the Relic Contemptor here shot into the Chosen Squad here, taking it down to 3 men. Whew. So that is the end of turn 4 shooting for the Templars. We are definitely going to have some assault phase, so let's see what happens. Okay, so we are now ending turn 4 assault for the Imperium. It's been a bit of a bloody phase, to say the least. We'll start over here on this side of the board. A bit of a stalemate down here as usual. Nothing really of interest happening between the Rubicon and the not the Rubicon, the Rubicae, Rubicae and the Assault Marines. We also have over here the last remaining veteran was taken out by, I think it was the Chaos Marines there, finished them off. And then as we swing back under here, you'll see there's no longer any cultists. They got well and truly cleaned out by the veterans. Over here, the Bloodletters were wiped off by the Blade Guard. However, in here, the Blood Crushers managed to finish off all the rest of the Crusaders down there. And then, while we did a lot of damage to the Bloodthirster, unfortunately, we can only take 8 wounds off max this phase, because I kind of failed in the shooting phase a little bit. Don't know why that would be. So I managed to take it down to 1 wound, which was all it had. And then Dom hit back, killed 4 of the Assault Intercessors, and put it back up to 3 wounds. Huzzah! So he still lives. Sadly, though, over here, the Mutilators have fallen. They really weren't too skilled in combat this time, it seems. Over to this side of the board, Araka has basically gone up to maximum power. So I think he's regaining wounds and stuff now and doing some nasty stuff. And I think my Terminators might be in trouble, which could make it interesting, I think, for turn 5. Obviously, turn 4 still to go for Dom, but I think 5 could be interesting. Unfortunately, on this side of the board, Chaos unfortunately have been pretty much removed from here. However, there's some stuff in the vehicles.
Yeah, still characters.
Yeah, so the 2 characters here jumped out and got down, finished off the Chosen, along with the help of this Terminator squad, and obviously the Dreadnoughts are all wandering around here. And then finally over here we had, well, there was no combat here actually, was there? It was leadership, sorry, pardon me. So nothing actually of note combat-wise happened there. Is that everything?
That is.
That is everything. So that is the end of turn 4 for the Black Templars. What is going to happen in turn 4 for the Wordbearers?
Turn 4 movement for the Chaos forces. So over here, let's start down here. So as we know, the veterans have taken this objective from the poor cultists. One's fallen over there. So the Vulture and the rest of his retinue have coming in for a charge there. Up here, the Raptors have jumped onto that objective. Over here, the Land Raiders moved out, and the Changelings appeared. The Master of Possessions actually summoned the Changeling here to assist with what's going on the battlefield. The Changeling, for those who don't know, also issues a 6-up Feel No Pain to Tzeentch demons. So the Warp Talons here are from Tzeentch, so hopefully that will help out a little bit there. Because the Emperor's Champion is a beast. Moving across the battlefield, the bomber is coming over again. He's almost on a full lap, and he's going to be putting some shots down there into the Master of the Forge. The Maul of Fiend remains still. The Skull Crushers are formed up into a diamond formation, and they are going to be charging straight into the Assault Intercessors, hopefully doing a bit of damage there and knocking them from the objective. Up here, however, Araka has mounted on top of the Vortex missiles and facing off against the Terminators. The Raptor, which was in combat with the Captain here, is fallen back here, opening them up to the Raptors here, the Warp Talon here, a few more Raptors there, and a potential charge from the Bloodletters there. So we could try and take him on there. The Terminators have moved up slightly to assist Araka in some sort of desperate attempt to show their worth. Moving across, Chaos Marines from the last remaining Rhino have disembarked and now holding that objective, object secure. The Rhino, though, has run away. It's heading back to our deployment with a few characters still on board there, because, let's face it, that's a lot of Assault Terminators and Dreadnoughts. I don't really fancy their chances. The Bloodletters are still there. The Obliterators kind of moved out on a couple of people's lines of sights, but hopefully we'll get some shots off, maybe towards the night there, who knows. Over here, the remaining Chaos Marines are consolidating their position. The Land Raider has pushed up here to get some more beads down the field, maybe into that Vindicator, who knows. And these 2 Chaos Marines, the last 2 of their attack squads, and they're going to face off against this thing, 1 wound. Maybe we can do it, who knows. So that is all the movement. Let's go into Psychic and Shooting, turn 4 for Chaos. End of turn 4 shooting for the Chaos forces. So in the Psychic phase, we attempted to cast a Boon of Chaos on the Warp Talons there. Didn't do anything. We have got off Cursed Earth. Unfortunately, though, we got a smite off and killed off the Emperor's Champion. So Cursed Earth is almost redundant unless Tom wants to fire some more things in there. Over here, we have the assassin of the game, the Hell Talon, came up behind, killing off the Master of the Forge. Las cannons and heavy bolters ripped into the Derridio, luring him down to 5 wounds there. So he's a little bit more wounded than he was before. We had some magma cutters going off there, didn't do anything. Moving across here, everyone with a gun fired into this guy here and did nothing. Well, no, we did 1 wound. 1 wound of all the firepower, 2 melter guns, bolt pistols, reapers, combi bolters. Oh, 1 wound, that's all we did. Also, across the field as well, we had a bit more firepower coming in from the Obliterator. So the Obliterator fired in and knocked this guy down to 4 wounds. The Knight also fired at Derridio and did nothing. And down here we had cultists firing in the air. We had a Land Raider firing its heavy bolter in. We had all these guys firing their melters and plasma pistols and nothing. this thing's still alive. Oh, goodness. So we are going to move into turn 4, assault, and hopefully it's all going to change. End of turn 4 assault for Chaos. So down here, the fight continues, 1 apiece, essentially. It's pretty much a stalemate there. Down here, however, it didn't go as well as I planned. A couple of the Vanguard have fallen. One of the Warp Talons died, and the Chaos Lord, the Warlord, also perished. His demon sword backfired on him, unfortunately. That didn't really work out well for him. Down here, the Vanguard, the Sternguard veterans were finally killed off by the Mauler Fiend. Down here, the cavalry charged in, reducing this squad to 1. That they took a bit of damage as well, but they fought back, killing off the Bloodthirster there. So the Bloodthirster has fallen, although the Intercessors are still just holding that objective there. Across here, Araka charged in, killing off 2 of the Terminators. The Raptors also fought but did nothing. Terminators fought back, doing 2 wounds to Araka. We've kind of established that Araka's rules should be done. As he inflicts the wounds, he regains his wounds, rather than at the end of the phase. I couldn't see in the wording there. Down here as well, the Primaris captain there is on 1 wound after being charged by the Warp Talons, the Warp Talon and the Bloodletters there. And finally, across the field, the only other bit of combat that I can remember. So much going on this battlefield at the moment. I know it's slowly slowing down. The Bloodletters charged in here, killing off the Knight and doing a couple of wounds on the Vindicator. So that is it. We're going to move on now to the final turn for Black Templars.
Okay, we have ended turn 4, so we're heading into turn 5. However, the scores currently stand at 18 to Imperium, 17 to Chaos. It is pretty tight. Lots of things probably going to swing in this last turn, so let's enjoy the end of turn 4 here with a quick look around the battlefield. So as we come to the end of the movement phase for the Black Templars in turn 5, the final turn, a few bits of movement done, not an awful lot. So down here, the Blade Guard veterans have surrounded the Lieutenant to try and protect him from the Mauler Fiend there, who's rather close now, I think. This squad has stayed still because he can't really get anywhere anyway. Likewise up here, we've broken from combat from the Juggernauts here because we do need to... or Blood Crushers, sorry, because we do need to try and put them out of commission. So we've got the Suppressors here, along with the squad of Crusaders that are actually still in this Rhino from the beginning of the game, just got out to assist with that. We then had these 3 vehicles here turn around because they've become irritated by this Talon that's been flying around. So we're going to try and remove him. He's got me 4 victory points. Yeah, I know, he's 4 victory points. He's an assassinator, to be fair. Here, we couldn't really get out of combat with Araka because of the movement and where we could go, so we're a little bit stuck there, so we're going to have to try and fight that one out. I don't think it's going to go well for us. However, this leader here the Gravas captain has jumped out of combat because he managed to squeeze out off the side of there and down, and he's going to hopefully go and hide with the Land Raiders over there. Very brave captain. Over here, I suspect the Chaos Marines here are feeling a little bit outmatched. They are truly surrounded. Is there a character there as well, or is he? You've legged it with him, haven't you?
No, the characters were
so
away.
they're in that vehicle there.
Yeah,
Hence the dreadnoughts.
They're being traced by dreadnoughts.
So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, the flyers have done what they can. However, they're pretty banged up now, so they're not that much use. And finally, the storm sword there has just moved up to occupy centre position to try and put fire down on anything that it can. So that is movement. Going to head on to a nice shooting phase now. So let's head on in. Okay, so we are ending turn 5 for the Templars in the shooting phase. Fair amount of firepower has flown around this board now. So both of these Crusaders here fired into the 5-man Raptor squad, and I think we killed 3. That was quite bad shooting because obviously this guy's run away. However, there's several metal guns trained in his direction. I don't know how long he's going to survive. And then over here we had the squadron of air hunters. Oh, he's gone into the Helltown. Sorry, yes, he is now gone. I did feel a bit sorry for it, but I didn't want to go around sniping my characters anymore. Over here we had some pistols fire into the Maulafine, taking it down to 9 wounds. Nothing really happened over here because no guns were able to do anything. We did have lots of shots into the Blood Crushers here, taking them down to 3 models remaining. And also we did pile around into the War Dog there. Is it on 8 now?
It's on 6.
It's on 6, sorry.
Yeah,
that was from here, wasn't it?
4.
Yeah. And then finally, over here, Dom was trying to run his Rhino away with 3 characters in it, because obviously they are valuable objectives. I shot several things at it to pop it open. I think it was a las cannon in the end that popped that open. The Land Raider over there fired it into here. And then the Dreadnought, all the dreadnoughts fired there, took out the sorcerer, but however the other 2 are currently surviving. But we've got some people here to clear them up in a minute. Maybe dreadnoughts can chase them down. We'll see. Now, on top of that, the storm sword saw his opportunity with a sniper shot from the main gun, getting 10 shots, and managed to snipe the Lord over, because unfortunately he was targetable at the time because there was nothing near him. And then also some las cannons went into the 2 Chaos Marines in the front, and they somehow survived. And the flamers fired into the juggernauts to help them whittle them down over there. There was a lot of flamers on there, to be fair, so that was quite good. Other than that, I think there was a few shots that pistoled into the
did nothing. Chaos
Marines, but didn't do anything. So we're going to head straight on to assault now. Let's see if we can take these characters out. Okay, so we have concluded turn 5 for the Black Templars, their final turn. So quite a bit has happened in that turn, to be honest. I'll go through the bits of note. So down here we had the Blade Guard veterans take the Maulafine down to 1. However, he did take out a Stern Guard veteran, so that is gone. Over here we had a complete stalemate in this fight, as it has been for like the last set of fights there. Also under here, it ended up a bit even Stevens as well, so I believe Dom's actually holding that objective now, so I couldn't really get much out of the way down there. And then as we move over to this side of the table, the Dreadnoughts needed a 12-inch charge. Guess what he got?
Yeah.
A 12-inch charge. So Dom was a bit upset because it got both his characters because the chain fist just went. So that's another few points there. And over here, unfortunately, the Chaos Marines that were here could not hold out against the elite first company of Black Templars that turned up on this hill. I must admit, over here was quite a bad day for the Chaos area. Over here we also had quite a few rounds of combat going to the Blood Crushers. They actually got one back in the leadership phase because they rolled a 1. So they're still holding in the middle there. However, I'm still holding the objective because I have troop choices on the central objective. However, that is the end of turn 5 for the Templars. So we're going to go to the final turn for the Wordbearers and let's see what they can do.
Turn 5 movement for the Wordbearers. So we're on the last attempt now to try and do anything to the Imperial forces here. These Raptors have now jumped off of the objectives that we've been holding for a little while now. The Maulafine's fallen out of combat. The Warp Talons have come out of cover, hoping to get a warp time off, try and jump them over to take on that Lieutenant there. Changeling as well is kind of wandering around, probably a potential smite going in here. Master of Possession has also jumped out of cover. The Knights moved out, the Obliterators there, and we've got the Cultists have all moved up here. So we're going to try and take out at least 2 characters there. Down here we also have the Captain, so maybe we can take him out. He's got 1 wound there. So we're going to try and take a few characters out in the last kind of huzzah for the Wordbearers. So let's move straight into turn 5, psychic and shooting. Right, turn 5, shooting and psychic. So over here we had a little cheeky warp time go off, although we had to spend a command point to make sure it did go off, and charge these warp talons over here. So hopefully they'll be able to charge in there in a minute and cause mayhem. The blade veterans have been killed off, mainly by the land raider back here, firing and killing 2 immediately with the lance cannons and 1 with the heavy bolter, killing them off. Over here we had auto guns firing, we had the knight firing, we had the obliterator firing, we killed off the Crusaders. The rhino was then killed by the land raider, firing everything it had into the rhino there. So just a chaplain just standing there all by himself. Moving across the battlefield, there's not much left that can shoot. Everyone that's either evacuated or has been killed at this point. Over here is completely Black Templars going through the chaos. Corpses there, looting, being tainted. Over here, the 2 melter guns fired into the captain, killing him off there. We're going to move into assault now, and hopefully we can kill another character, maybe 2, who knows. So let's move into turn 5, assault for chaos. Right at the end of turn 5 and at the end of the game, we had the warp talons and the raptors charging in there and killed off the lieutenant there. He was really slightly wounded. The warp talons did most of the damage, and then the raptors just finished him off, killing them with the final wound. However, the Master of Possession charged across in a heroic attempt, dealing 3 wounds out to the chaplain, unfortunately taking 1 back in return, and falling, giving 1 point back to the filthy Templars. And that was it really. The rest of their combat really didn't do much. Nothing really happened here. The others turned into a bit of a stalemate, and nothing else really affected the game. So Tom is currently counting up the scores, and we'll be right back with the final results. Right, so we have counted up the scores. The final scores are in. Now, it is very close, people. Very close indeed. The final score is 24 points to the Imperium and 23 points to Chaos.
Yes.
Now, this shows you how close it was. I was just saying to Tom that if this had paid off, if somehow the Master of Possession was able to do it, it would have flipped in the other way. But because he went in, he gave Tom an extra point. And so it went from a draw to a win for the Imperium from my own poor decisions, unfortunately. So yeah, that's gone over to Tom. Really fun game. I hope you've all enjoyed watching it. We've definitely enjoyed playing it. It's taken a long time. It's been a long day. It's gone midnight now, so we're both quite tired. Tom, do you have a model of the match?
That's a good question. They were a tough one. I'm not. I think the Storm Sword did really well.
The Storm Sword, so your guard element of your army.
Which is really bizarre because it did the things at the right time.
Yep.
That or the Dreadnoughts. I think
all the Dreadnoughts. You can't pick a unit type, so it's a Storm Sword. Yeah. So the Storm Sword, yeah, pretty dependable. Did a lot of damage throughout the game. For me, I'm actually going to pick the Hell Talon. Oh, yeah? Because he's the only one unit that I know has done 4 victory points for me throughout the game. And he went for a long time without being noticed. And yeah, he was pretty constant actually, doing a bit of damage everywhere. So yeah, for me, surprisingly, it's going to be the Hell Talon.
Cool.
So guys, I hope you all enjoyed watching this. If you have, give us a like, comment below what your favourite part of the game was. If you haven't already, give us a little subscribe. And this is Dom and Tom from Blacktoad Studios. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Take care.